Oh, yeah. What is up, my dudes? How are we doing today? Every single time now that I give my intro, my dog absolutely loves it for some reason. Um, he seems to get really hyped up whenever I do that. So he's hyped up. I'm hyped up. You guys in the chat seem to be pretty hyped up. We got a bunch of people already in there, barely conscious and still here. Fuck you, coronavirus. I told you that shit's for real. God damn, that shit's crazy. Big ups to Philip Franklin for showing me Scent Split as well. I just got some new fragrances in from Scent Split. It's a website where you can go and get some of the higher level designer fragrances that are a bit out of your price range and get a decant of some of them, choosing whatever size you so desire, and then having it shipped to your door. So I did that for some of the ones that I am most curious about. And I got to say, overall, I'm pretty happy with what I picked up today, except for one of them. One of them just smells too flowery. Anyway, I shouldn't throw it like that, but whatever. Whatever. We got JK in the house, the bit, Max, as always. Thanks for being here. Philip Franklin, Daniel, John P, Tony. If you guys are in the chat, make sure we're hitting that like button first and foremost. Second, drop a little what's up. Scott, finally coming through. Good to see you up in here, my man. That is absolutely 100%. Let's do this. All right. Let's get into it today, guys. We'll get on topic a little bit faster today. Well, possibly. I can't make any promises. I just kind of like talk about life a little bit and get things going. So let's talk about life a little bit. What did I do today? Hey, good to see. There is no, I don't like, okay, first and foremost, I love Tony Ferguson. I really do. I think he's a great fighter. He's not a champ. I like how different he is as far as his fighting style is concerned. But Khabib, like, the UFC never should have brought Khabib in, because Khabib is like, I don't think Khabib's beatable. I really don't. Khabib has been born into, like, Khabib is Bane. And that's one thing, too, that kind of pisses me off about the fucking Dark Knight trilogy or whatever. I don't think Batman could have ever beat up. I don't think Batman could have ever taken Bane. Bane was the shit. So Khabib is Bane. Like, Khabib was born in the darkness. He was born with fighting in his blood. Like, that's his lifestyle. Nobody else here in America is born that way, plain and simple. So it's silly. It's silly that they did that. Like I said, oh, shoot, we got Ish up in the house. We got Matt W up in the house. Timius Maximus. Brent. Hell yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Khabib grew up choking bears at 11 years old. He has tons of heart. Not just that, he knows how to kill, right? Like, our fighters today in the United States and all these other people, they don't know how to kill. They don't have a killer instinct. There's a reason why Khabib went after fucking Dylan Dennis and all those dudes after the McGregor fight. It's like honor and legacy mixed in with like a warrior fucking culture and tribalism still. You know, it's like there's no separation to these guys. They're barbarians, fucking straight up. Like, barbarism is for sure a way of life out there. You got to do it. Exactly. No, they go to real world. They don't go to school. They go to real world. Like, yo, fucking survive. Here you go. Right. Fucking crazy. Yeah. It's not even a comparison. Not even a comparison. Yeah, he's got crazy stamina, but we all saw what happened to Connor. All you got to do for stamina is you just got to take people down. Which, let's face it, Khabib's wrestling outmatches everyone in that fucking division. And Khabib knows how to wrap people up. It's almost like I don't know if you watched the It was the night of the McGregor fight, the most recent one against Cerrone. Who is that fucking Russian heavyweight? That it was a fucking awesome fight too. But his jiu-jitsu, as far as like getting him on the ground, he finished that bigger black dude. I forgot his name. He finished him with this pretty sick armbar that was just like so constrictive that you couldn't do it. Like that's how these guys are. They fucking they know how to fight. They're tested from very early on. Like their genetics are just so superior, right? It's almost like China and weightlifting. Well, fucking Russia does the same thing with weightlifting too. They get these kids into weightlifting so early and they throw so much pressure on them and they break them. Like they'll break people. And the ones that don't break, they just keep putting more and more and more on them. So it's like, that's what you do. You are a weightlifter up until you're like 27 or 28. And like, that's when you retire because they've been lifting since 5, right? It's like these guys break them in the fucking ring. They break, like Sambo is no joke. Like that's one thing. John Fitch and I talk about it quite a bit, but Sambo, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest fighting methods out there. Second book, or part 2. So a Patriarch's Vision. Just let you know, it won't be called Patriarch's Vision, Purging Feminism. That's just this book. The next one will obviously still be a Patriarch's Vision, but it'll be something different. But I've come to the conclusion that we need to kind of mimic and model a society where that is kind of part of life. I don't know about going that hard of like recruiting kids at like 5 years old into this stuff, but from 13 on up, yeah, absolutely. Boys will be going through something like that. Khabib has to end it quick, but then again, the man wrestles fucking bears. Exactly. In Dagestan, they beat you up if you whistle in public. That's hilarious. I like it. I kind of do wish we went back to I mean, I don't know if we need to go beating people up for whistling, but definitely like littering, you know? Like people should get beat for littering, I think, on top of a few other things. It's the same thing in like Singapore. If you chew gum or spit on the ground, dude, you get your ass whooped by police. Like I respect that. I 100% respect that. Like go back to the days of the samurai. Samurai used to carry around their katanas and they would make sure and maintain like the policing of their towns and cities. There's no police force. It was part of like the warlord, right? They represented the warlord or the fucking Ronin. And these guys took control of how people were in the environment. Agreed. Talk about it in my first book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days. Clutter equals like a cluttered mind, so to speak, right? That's why like feng shui, they talk about that. There's a lot of Eastern stuff out there that tackle a lot of bullshit. Where are you, water? There we go. That tackles a lot of the water. Tackles a lot of the shit that we got wrong here in our society. I think there should be a merger, and essentially that's where I think we're going to. That's where our evolution is going towards. Is this is pretty much the preface of the preface of a Patriarch's Vision, Purging Feminism. Hey, now who that is? Whatever. Where I talk about what I think is happening, what I think the convergence that's happening here is that, man, this is gonna get a little bit spiritual, but I don't care. Giving you guys the preface of my new book, might as well, why not? I'll give you guys, for being such awesome subscribers and coming in here every single day, might as well give you a taste of what I'm talking about here, and you might as well hear what I have to say. Like hearing it is a lot better than reading it, because it's like, what? Here you'll be able to understand it. Anyway, so I think what's going on with consciousness right now, so I believe that God essentially is consciousness, and that we are all we are all frequencies of said consciousness, right? So we're all a piece of it is really what it comes down to. And the thing is, we can only see consciousness through our consciousness. We can only see reality through our two eyes. That's the only perspective that you can take it, right? And I think that we've evolved up to this point in order for us to learn different lessons from different types of societies and civilizations, mixing technologies and different things on top of understanding our behaviors and all this other stuff. And I think we're at a point right now where we've collected enough information to create a golden age, like a true golden age. That's going to probably, I mean, I don't know if this is the Bible, but I think this is seen in a whole bunch of other stuff. But I think that we're approaching a time right now where humanity is going to live in a golden age for about 1,000 years. And that's just because based off of how cycles occur, right? We go through all these different epochs and all this other stuff. Anyway, where am I going with it right now? I think that we've collected enough data via consciousness in order for us to say, you know what? Here's some of the great things of the old. Here's some of the great things of the new. Here's some of the pros of the old. Here's some of the pros of the new. And let's merge. Let's merge the two together. Let's create a civilization and a society where we can merge the best of the old with the best of the new, and then omit as best as possible the worst of both of those. So that's what I think is going to occur. I think that's where we're moving toward. So essentially what I would like to see is a society that merges good new green technology and the ability to like terraform your surroundings, right? So like human beings that can be in control of their environment around them, where we can have sustainable food sources that are healthy, unlike what we're producing today, mixed with clean water and the ability to be able to heal people naturally and holistically, on top of having like a tribalistic society where there's a love and need and respect for the nuclear family, but then also like rites of passage, mixed with teaching people like the base foundations of what needs to be done in order for you to survive and live and thrive, right? So like survival skills, self-defense, and learning from understanding and replicating nature in a way of like understanding the best of hierarchies, how different species interact. You can learn a lot from nature, honestly. A couple friends of mine, I believe actually John Fitch and MLD John, have both turned me on to the Instagram page Nature is Metal. Mainly because one of my biggest arguments against all these fucking stupid hippies is that they sit there and they believe that nature, that Mother Nature is this pure, ethical, fair, loving being. And it's like, yo, you don't understand nature in the least bit. There's rape in nature. There's fucking savagery in nature. There's all sorts of shit. Like war is in nature. Look at fucking chimps. You know what I mean? And then they'll sit there and they'll be like, well, look at bonobos. Well, it's like, did you know? And I talk about this in my book. I think it's 0.0, or I think it's 0.7%. 0.7% of species operate in a matriarchy. 0.7%. It's such a fucking anomaly in any species that it barely fucking makes a mark, right? There's like seven species out there that operate on a fucking in a matriarchal fashion. And the most popular ones that people bring up is bonobos. Oh, bonobos. I wouldn't even consider that a fucking good society, first and foremost. And that's what they're trying to mimic. That's what women are trying to create in our society today. Women are the leaders of bonobos, and they use their sex in order to pretty much make all these beta males just be submissive. But the thing you got to understand about fucking bonobo society too is, first off, they're very rare. Second off, they don't have any natural predators that are around them, and they have an abundance of They have an abundance of resources. But then on either side of them are like warring fucking tribes of different types of monkeys that just kind of like let them be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's an anomaly, so to speak. It's stupid. It's absolutely retarded. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. If you guys aren't on the mailing list yet, and I'm doing some changes to the mailing list as we speak, mainly because most of the emails went out yesterday and went directly to people's spam folder. So I had to change the what's it called, from which I sent it from, and all sorts of other shit. And yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. This guy's learning a little bit more about technology. So link is in the chat if you want to get that free chapter. I will answer your question right now, Scott, too, because that was a good question. Agogi clean floors. A lot of people from Dagestan lose. Yeah, that's true. Well, that's because America's the best, but I think we could be better. Singapore is fucked, but it makes you actually respect the government. What if it was just people respecting the creation that they made, right? Like if you create society and civilization, it's just like I said, I talk about this often. My biggest thing is this: if people just learn to clean up their own messes, nobody else would be responsible for cleaning up their own mess. But sometimes you need an authority figure to come in and be like, hey, you need to clean up your own mess. That's daddy. You know what I mean? So got to get back to painting this hospital cafeteria. There's whoopie pies in front of me, tempting to eat one. Ugh, but I won't. Yeah, whoopie pies aren't that good. As a health guy of sorts who follows the gurus and nutcases, recently a hardcore vegan, just adopted your carnivore diet. Good man. I bet you life is a lot better for you. Or was it him? Okay, him. He was bleeding from his vegan ass for 6 months. He said, so he went back to animal products. Yeah, exactly. When you don't eat animal products, which we've been evolved to eat, you really start to fuck up your small intestine. Is it your small intestine? Yeah, small intestine. And then you get fucking all sorts of messed up shit. You get fucking distended abdomen and all this other crap because you're not using the muscles and all that stuff down there. And then you get leaky butt syndrome. It's a very, very well-known issue with vegans. Spiritualness, or what I call spirituality, is better than religion. Exactly. And I make the case for it in my book in chapter number 8. Corey, why are you sober? I'm curious. Okay. I'll tell you why. I no longer like to disassociate. I no longer like to disassociate from reality. Because far too long, for a couple years, I was doing exactly that. And actually, I shouldn't say for so many years, like I was just sitting there in a fucking drug-induced stupor, but there was a good 6-7 months where I was like that too, where I was waking and baking, and I was eating fucking edibles pretty much every day too. And weed does a really good job. What getting high is essentially, as strange as this sounds, is you're shifting your perspective of reality. And it's not a true reality. It's a falsified version of reality. And the same also too happens with alcohol. So anytime you use these things, the reality of what that comes down to as well is there's obviously something inside of you that is saying, I need to disassociate because I'm not happy or content with my reality. So therefore, I choose to use this substance that helps me escape from what is causing this internal, I guess, divergence, right? Where you're looking to run away from yourself or run away from your problems. And the thing is, anytime you take into practice any of those things, that's really essentially what addictions become, is because you become addicted to, instead of cleaning up your mess, like I said, you become addicted to running away. And that's why you see so many people who, when they use these things, they end up becoming degenerates. Because the thing is, for you to be healthy and whole, it's to actually run toward the thing that's causing you all those issues. And how do you do that? Well, for me personally, that was through meditation. It was through therapy. It was through obviously ayahuasca and iboga, right? Doing these different types of ceremonies, rituals, and initiations into manhood that caused me to see my reality from a different perspective. So for instance, Like I got to see, I don't know if you guys watched my interview the other day with John, MLD John, so Modern Life Dating, episode 202, I believe was on Monday. But I go into a pretty deep account of all the traumas and all the negative experiences that I experienced growing up in the military, in war, and then after getting out of the military. And it was a very, very high level and complex variety of different struggles that led to obviously me having a specific hatred of myself, because I was raised in the blue pill fashion of believing that I'm disposable and believing that my value was less than, and wanting things in life and wanting my life to go in certain courses and directions, but not being able to obtain it because of XYZ. Not to mention, when you have these issues, right, they do cause different types of chemical imbalances inside you, which leads you to have like certain precursors towards depression and anxiety or toward addiction. So when I started using cannabis, it ended up becoming my medicine as I was trying to come off of SSRIs. And that's what I considered it was my medicine. But instead, reality was that I was addicted, so to speak, to disassociating. And like I said, the biggest thing about disassociating merely is that you don't like yourself, right? So in a way, it's like you trying to kill yourself. You're trying to kill a version of yourself that you don't like, or all of it, right? So let's talk about alcohol right now. So the reason why I don't like alcohol is spiritually, if you look at alcohol, alcohol is a very low vibrational thing, right? It's a poison to the body, believe it or not. It's so bad for you that your body actually has to create an enzyme in the liver for you to be able to digest it properly. This is why people can't, especially if they're alcoholics, they can't just quit, right? Cold turkey, because the body has been so used to processing alcohol daily. And, what sclerosis of the liver is obviously having all this crazy toxic scarring that seeps out all this other stuff. Anyway, alcohol is really bad for you. Really, really bad for you. It lowers your consciousness down, right? It makes you very vibrationally dense. I'll give you a quick story that kind of like put it into perspective for me. I was out one night after coming back from Afghanistan. I was obviously out trying to go and pick up girls, but I was with a group of people and all this other stuff. And I actually decided that night that I wasn't going to drink, because I was like, you know what? First and foremost, I don't like drinking because of the mere fact that, especially now after the age of 30, so I'm about to be 35 on the 22nd, it just seemed like alcohol was staying in my system a lot longer. So I wasn't able to recover faster, and I was feeling more and more tired with my workouts and stuff. So I was like, fuck, I don't like it. I don't like that aspect. But then, so during this time frame, I also started to notice just how manipulative alcohol was to people. So I saw these two Marines that were looking at these two good-looking women at the bar. And I saw them talking, and they were like going to go and try to game them, but neither one of them had the nuts to go do it. Then I started seeing them taking shots and putting beers down. This was like at 8:00. And then later around midnight, I finally see these two guys go and walk up to these two girls, and they were fucking hammered. And they were like, you could see their eyes were all glazed over, and they were kind of like walking around like zombies. And the guy goes up to the girl and he goes like this. He's like, hey. And he like taps her because he finally has the nuts to do so. And he's like, hey, you're really pretty and something like that or whatever. And the girl's like, ew, get away from me kind of deal, right? And I was just laughing because I was like, man, in that moment I had an epiphany. I was like, man, if only that guy had just gone up to her like earlier in the night when he was sober and had the balls to do that, and just been like, hey, I think you're super cute. Let's talk. Or, hey, my name's Scott. How you doing? Or whatever, right? Like, it would have been far better for him to do that than the type of person that he became through drinking, right? Because in his mind, what he was saying was, I'm not good enough, so I'm going to use this substance in order for me to either one, feel more inclined to do so, to get the bravery up, to not look as stupid, right? That was the other thing, to not look as stupid. But he ended up making himself look 10 times more stupid to this girl through drinking. And I was like, huh. So I observed that, and obviously in the state where I wasn't drinking, I was like, this is an amazing thing. Now, what if I could take that lesson and apply that as a sober person to going and picking up girls and going and talking to people, or even getting on the dance floor, right? Even getting on the dance floor sober, right? In a club. It's like a lot of people use alcohol as a means to run away from actually taking action. They use it as liquid courage. And it's like, as I sat there and I thought about it, I was like, man, that is destructive behavior, I believe, right? Because if I'm trying to be the best version of myself, I don't need this substance in order for me to act the way that I need to act, right? I instead need to train myself to go and do these things. I need to have the courage to go up to these girls and what's it called? What the hell is this? Okay, cool. Oh shit. Um so that's why I decided to stop drinking. And then the like to completely become sober. I decided to become completely sober about 2 years ago, I believe. And that's after my first iboga ceremony. I went down to Costa Rica and I did iboga. And I'll tell you what, before I did iboga, I was still, even though I'd done ayahuasca and a few other things, and I've been doing different stuff, I was still having some episodes of like depression and anxiety that were just uncontrollable. So I went down to Costa Rica as like my last ditch effort in order for me to like heal my trauma or my depression and anxiety. So I went down there and I was like, I fucking like, I need this to work. I need this to work. Like I can't keep living this way. Like I find like I promise myself, I'm like, I'm never going to take these fucking drugs again either. Right. The prescription drugs and medication. I was like, I'm so anti those things. It's ridiculous. I was like, I need for this to work. So I'm down there and obviously talking to like the different shamans and stuff that do iboga, and like we're all on the same page. It's so cool. Like I go down there and like everything that I kind of know is knowledge from all my journeying and everything that I've gone through, like they know as well. And we're like clicking and vibing on all this stuff through all the conversations that we're having. And Gary, the owner of Iboga Wellness, continued to say over and over, he's like, hey, when you guys go back to the States, limit the amount of alcohol that you take in. And then he kind of went through the whole thing, like what I just talked about, of like alcohol being very low vibration and all this other stuff. And you just went through a ceremony where you really raise your vibration. Like we're just using the term vibration as far as energy is concerned. Like gnosis, like understanding. And he said, Iboga is well known to be able to stay in your system for like 6 months afterwards. Where the cool thing that I noticed, right, and I can attest to this, mine actually, for me personally, I feel like it stayed in my system for about 2.5 years, where I was seeing all sorts of benefits and all sorts of things kind of continue to build up and stuff, and synchronicities and all this other crap. But what Gary said was, hey, like if you drink alcohol, it diminishes the concentration within your blood, right? So alcohol will have like lower what all the work that you've done so far. So I was like, fuck it. I was like, I can go without alcohol. So from there, I think I drank maybe like once or twice after that. With like one time I had like I think I had a cider, and then I had like 2 Coors Lights playing beer pong once, because I actually love playing beer pong. I had 2 Coors Lights playing beer pong. And then after that was, like I said, that was about 2 years ago. After that, I haven't had any alcohol. And I just said, yeah, fuck it. I like living. I like being sober, right? As crazy as that sounds. And then from that 2-year mark, right, I realized, and that's when I got deeper and deeper into game as well. I realized that it's such a benefit to me with game. And obviously at first, when I first started, really getting deep into game and running my sets and getting more and more into like dating as frequent as I did, I had to learn how to date without drinking, right? And I had to learn how to also like sell it in a way. So there's that very very unique aspect. But hey, we got 40 people up in here right now. Let's make sure we're hitting that like button. Also, make sure you're dropping some comments in the comment section. Hope that answered your question, Scott. I got to scroll all the way down now, see what else we got. We're about to go through genetic testing, making it known that many more people are more white than they know. Okay. That's cool. Oh man, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in here in a while. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. The age of Aquarius, baby. That's why the sea level is rising. Yeah, some type of airborne virus or something. Some type of knowledge is escaping from those ice caps. Some people even say that we're going to go through a reverse of polarity and all this other shit. Who knows? We'll see. I just hope I live long enough to see the singularity AI baby. I was thinking about that last night. I was thinking a lot about AI and consciousness. I don't know. If we can create AI, then our government and other people have to know what consciousness is. I was thinking about that. So I think that's the greatest secret that's being kept from us. Every iceberg is one venti Starbucks of salt water rising. Cool. I don't drink anymore either. Feels great. Got most of my drinking days out in my early 20s. Yeah, it's not worth it, honestly. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got here. Yo, first name, last name. Alcohol is a registered toxin. When I used to administer alcohol, I ended up doing stupid, regretful shit. Exactly. That's why it's so low vibration. Some people even call it, the reason why it's called distilled spirits or spirit is a means by which different types of darker spirits enter into your consciousness and make you do bad things to lower your life. Who knows? I don't know what it is, but take what you can with that. I had to go through the military's AA Sacco because I drank so much, hide from my problems. That's huge in the military. Drinking is the only option that we give our troops to disassociate from the pain that they're in. So that's why there's so much shit that happens in the military. I knew an ex-soldier. He wasn't an alcoholic, but did try to drink the pain away, given some of the shit he had to do. Better now, thankfully. Yeah, absolutely. How we doing, by the way? First name, last name. How was your Iboga experience? How's everything since you've been back? I was thinking about you yesterday. It's such a benefit with game for sure. Good stuff. Good stuff. Singularity is way behind our time or beyond our time, perhaps 2 lifetimes away. Current AI can barely even be called AI. Yeah, it's just, I'd love to know more and more about that stuff, but crazy. Good stuff. My man, I hope this is true. I really, really do. And if you are really sticking to it, man, I'm proud of you. So keep doing what you can do. Alcohol is not good. It's not good for you. Awesome. Pretty good. Iboga overpowered Aya. After Iboga, all my esoteric dreams stopped from when I did Aya. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Iboga, like I talk about in my Iboga versus ayahuasca stuff. I'm kind of in the same boat too. I'm more steeped in reality now than I am after ayahuasca. And I feel like I have more of a direction and purpose, as well as I feel like, yeah, like I said, I'm just more steeped in reality. Ayahuasca teaches you things through dreams, which can be interpreted in various different facets, whereas Iboga delivers it to you like, hey, this is what's up. Like, you can't avert your eyes from this. Like, this is the truth. And this is kind of the direction you got to go. Like, are you willing to do it? Yes or no? And it's like, yep. All right, cool. Let's do this. I don't know if you've noticed the same thing. I definitely noticed after I came back from Iboga too, more and more things lined up in my life where it was like things were affected here more in reality than before, which is pretty epic stuff. I highly recommend. Like, I think that Iboga is the masculine. I think that it is the ultimate masculine rites of passage. That's what I truly believe. That's why when I talk to a lot of people I consult with or whomever that have types of trauma and different things in their life, I always recommend to them that they go and do iboga at some point. It's a true test of man for sure, I believe. Anybody with mental issues or physical issues should look into, I don't know what MTHFR gene polymorphism. I've been using methylfolate and getting fantastic results with mood and energy and anti-inflammation effects. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I got to look into it myself. I've been noticing for my mood and all this other stuff, I really like my 5-HTP, 5-HTP, St. John's wort, and ashwagandha. That's what I take practically daily to make and maintain my mood. The other cool thing about ashwagandha that most people don't understand is that we have a stress hormone quite often released, especially through the amount of information and just the level of fucking degeneracy in our society. So cortisol is being released quite often. So ashwagandha does a tremendous job of turning off the cortisol signals when you don't need to. It's take a look into it. It's spelled IBOGA. And take a look. If you go and look at like my first video that I've posted on this channel, you'll see it. I do a review on iboga and where to go and all this other stuff. So go take a look at that video, and then hit the old like button on it too. That would be super duper. Ashwagandha is great, but I get headaches from it. That's crazy. I don't get headaches from it, but I know what you mean because I'm in the same boat when it comes to fish oil. Any type of fish oil or krill oil, I can't take. I think it thins my blood too much, and I get headaches from it, so I don't take it. At Scott Offit, good luck looking up iboga. The most feminized of men give their testimonials, and for me, it was a turnoff. It wasn't until I saw a God Amongst Men testimonial that I pulled the trigger. Yeah. For me, it fucking supercharged me into like super alpha fucking King Chad Thundercock. The universe is made of protons, neutrons, electrons, and morons. Absolutely. Given the role of hormones in our mood and general personality, especially testosterone in men, what are the best natural ways to boost and maintain one's T levels, do you think? Best natural way? Meat, eating a lot more meat and making sure that your macros are on point. I'll leave this up here for a second. Creatine, right? You're definitely going to want to get on creatine in order to open up your, it's a vasodilator, which opens up your cells in order to receive more nutrients so that you can gain more muscle mass. So you're eating protein, you're taking creatine. I would ensure that, boron is pretty damn good. I take boron and zinc before I go to bed. And another thing that's also big time missing is magnesium. Make sure you're taking magnesium before you go to sleep. I think that's huge. Ashwagandha, as I just talked about, absolutely imperative because you want to turn off those cortisol signals so that you could produce testosterone. The next thing that I would look into doing is I really like pine pollen for my free testosterone. It really increases your free testosterone count. So that's huge. So we got all those bases, I think, covered. Boron, zinc, magnesium, ashwagandha, and pine pollen that's a pretty good start to boosting that. You know, most people sit there and they'll say Tribulus terrestris. Yeah, that's true too. It's a pretty good one. But I'm a huge fan of ashwagandha. Maca is good too. And that's about it because that's a big list of stuff to get. Of course, as always, I got to throw this out there. Do please go and get your T levels checked if they're super duper low, as I am a true believer that we are being chemically castrated via numerous sources. Cue tinfoil hat right now, but I believe that it's happening in society, not just based off of the fact that we're no longer out and protecting and building and all this other stuff, but I think that it's being done via certain things to diminish the testosterone in the population. Makes people more easily controlled for sure. Anyway, go get it tested. And if it comes time to it, go and get yourself a beautiful prescription of TRT. That's what you want to do. I assure you this. Beef liver equals mojo food, also rich in natural folate. Organ meat is good for you. However, that's why I wear the crown now. I wear the crown to protect me from MK Ultra. Oh man. We could go down some roads, man. I'm telling you. What do you think about running game on rural Bolivian women? I say go for it. If you ever have to ask me about running game anywhere, I say go for it. Screw it. Just go for it. Fuck it. Who cares? Pull the trigger. Ask them girls out. As a matter of fact, that'll lead perfectly into a little segue that I want to have right now. Well, we'll leave that up. I was at the gym again today, as usual. Doing some sumo deadlifts, doing some high rep volume today. So I did like 5 sets of 315 for 10, making sure I clenched them booty cheeks at the top, sucking in my belly too, getting all the transverse abdominis going on in there. Anyway, before I get on, I have to wait for the platform because, of course, there's 5 platforms there at this gym, all Alico weights and Alico bars and stuff. It's pretty good. Of course, there's one fucking dude doing bicep curls with fucking no weight on the bar. I'm just sitting here like, God damn you, I want to punch you, breaking the fucking rules. Go over the bench. Go over there where there's nobody fucking working out chests because it's Wednesday and go curl with that fucking barbell. Don't do it at the fucking squat rack. Stupid idiot. Ugh. Should have thrown a rotten banana at him. Just because I want to hear it like smack his head and just smush and then stink up everything. And then just be like, don't fucking curl in the squat racks. Anyway, the far end, there's 2 girls working out. They're clearly rainbow-ish. Good-looking girls, though. Younger. But they're rocking some rainbow vibe stuff. I've seen one of the other girls around quite a bit. She's always wearing a hat. And she's always got this look on her face like she's about to cry. So she's always got like this victim look on her face. And she's one of the few women like I talk about too. Like I've talked to you guys about this before. Obviously when I walk around, I look like I am the fucking poster child for fucking toxic masculinity. Good looking fucking dude that's well kempt and I'm just muscular and I wear clothes that are like form fitted so you could see my musculature. And I'm just a big hulk of a man. And I walk around like I got a fucking big old dick between my legs. And I don't really give a fuck, right? But I'll smile. I smile and I look at people and I'm like, I give people the what's ups and stuff. So it's pretty curl. Squat in the curl rack. That's what I do. Man. I get my ashwagandha off of, what's it called, buddy? Off of Amazon. Anyway, where's the fucking, what's it called? Yeah, we'll leave that one up there. So I'm waiting for the squat racks, right? Because that's what people do when it's a 20-minute time limit. If you're obviously sitting there like a fucking nincompoop, curling for fucking 21 minutes, your ass needs to get out of there. Anyway, so these 2 girls on the end that are possibly rainbow people, but with terrible fucking attitudes, as you can see, they're finishing up, and I start to walk over there because I don't know if they're finishing up or if they're going to transition. And I walk over there kindly and politely, and I go, hey, are you all done? Making eye contact with this individual, having a fucking human interaction, God forbid. And I no fucking kidding, like no fucking kidding, guys, right? As I'm speaking to her, looking at her, she turns her head away from me. And then she just kind of like nods a little bit and she goes, yeah, like that. Yeah. And then like, as she gets up and walks, she keeps her head turned and then like walks around me as to make sure she doesn't make eye contact with me or to actually fucking like converse. And I looked at her as she's walking past me and I go, Thank you very much. And then I smiled at her. And I was just like, what a fucking. No, she was not Indian. She was Hispanic. But I was just like, what a fucking baby. Like, I don't give a fuck how. And I bet this woman, I bet you $100. I bet you she's a female only training instructor that is here somehow, some way to empower women. I bet you that's exactly what it is. That's exactly who she is. So the whole thing is that her whole vibe is this, that women are battered and women are whatever, and women need to be strong and all this other stuff. So therefore she trains women to be fit and strong. And if she's to be nice or kind to the patriarchal man, whatever, who cares? She couldn't handle the masculinity. Listen, I don't give a fuck what your ideology is or however the fuck it is. If you're in a gym, you're in a public space, like, you can at least have some level of communication where it's like, yeah, I'm all done. It's all yours. Have a good workout, right? Exchange some form of pleasantries. Lady, I'm not going to ask you for your fucking number right now. You're wearing a goddamn hat. Like, here's what I'm starting to realize about girls who wear hats at the gym. They're cunts. I get why you're wearing a hat, because you're a bitch. Like, who cares? I'm not going to talk to you. You're not pleasant. You know what I mean? Sure, this doesn't apply to all women. I've talked to some girls that have had hats on before that are pleasant, but the majority of the time, they're insecure and they're fucking bitches, and they're probably like SMV fucking 7s and below, right? They can't compete with the hotties, so they cover up their fucking stupid feminist bitchy faces. Like, lady, I'm not going to fucking hit on you. I don't care. You're not even in that good a shape. I just want to use the fucking squat rack. You could sit there and you could say, hey, here you go. Thanks for asking, or whatever. Have a good workout. I'd exchange the same pleasantry. Yeah, you too. Have a great workout. Thank you very much. You don't have to go out of your way to fucking just go, yeah. Like, she didn't even move her fucking lips. She just goes, yeah. Man, that drives me fucking crazy. Should have fucking just, never mind. I can't say those kinds of things. I'm already probably going to get fucking banned for just saying that. So drives me fucking crazy, though. Be a fucking decent human being. If you're under 30 wearing a hat, they're hiding from the world. Yep. Yeah, I'm from Ellington, except my name's Corey. It's on the screen. Fucking Lou. You live in Enfield. Cool. I grew up playing hockey in Enfield. That's where I had to play hockey because we didn't have any hockey teams or a fucking rink. So I had to go and play in Enfield. Good stuff. Hats and long skirts equals old. See you next Tuesday, aka over 27 and independent. Yeah, exactly. Gross. My new male version of independent is disengaged. There you go. My new male version. Oh wait, sure. If a girl says independent, I say I'm disengaged. It's okay. You'll just have to kiss the hand next time. The way some people behave, you'd think manners are the most expensive thing in the world. Yeah, I could not believe that. That was like, honestly, that was one of the most disrespectful things. I wanted to like, I was debating on it. I wanted to be like, hey, be more polite next time. Like, honestly, I wanted to do that, but you know, I'd probably get kicked out of the gym for being a fucking toxic. It's okay if I do it to men. It's okay if I go up and I tell men to not be fucking stupid idiots in the gym. But God forbid I go up to a fucking little princess who's acting like the victim all the time and fucking say something to her. I feel that basic pleasantries keep you in a good mood. Bitches like to seem to be in their own world. Yeah. No, basic pleasantries too, I think, are a glue in society. As Lou Piazza just said, I grew up in a small town. Whenever we drive past people, man, we'd fucking wave, or like we'd notify people if they had their high beams on by flicking the lights or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, we communicated to people. We'd hold doors open for people behind us and all this other stuff. We'd look at each other in the eyes and say, hey man, how you doing? Have a good day. All this other stuff. And like, small town, it was 15,000 people. Right. But like, there was some level of engagement when there was an interaction in public. Like, God forbid you fucking say, hey, yeah, we're done here. Thanks for asking. Or it's all yours. You know, she sees me there. Like, you can kind of like flag her down. This is what I do when I'm on the squat rack and I see someone fucking waiting. I'll actually go up to him. I'll be like, hey man, and I'm one of the biggest dudes in the gym. I'm fucking super scary, all this other shit, whatever the fuck you want to say. I go and I walk right up to him. And I go, hey man, just let you know, I got about 1 or 2 more sets. Just so you're not fucking standing here with your fucking thumb up your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that to him exactly, but like, I observe my surroundings and I engage with my surroundings. You know, she's pounding away on the keyboard for a Jezebel article about toxic entitled male who invaded her space. Yada. You're absolutely right. You're 100. She's using this as fuel, as like, this guy was staring at me in the gym, fucking belittling me with his fucking tight shirt on, thinking he's fucking the man and all this other stuff. It's like, lady, I just wanted to go and work out. I wanted to actually go and lift weights on like what you're fucking doing, pretending to be like this fucking cute little princess. You're not. You're post-wall, bitch. Go for a long swim in the ocean. I never hold the door for randoms, and that needs to be put to rest. I'll hold the door for men. And I know this sounds kind of weird, but I'll do it for old people too. Doesn't matter what gender. But women, no. Not anymore. I don't do that shit anymore. I don't hold the door. I actually like make sure I run in front of them and don't hold the door. Oh man, who do I got here? Jamali. Are you? Cool. Oh yeah, I got to tell this story. That's good. Damn, I'm looking tan AF, bruh. Look at that shit. All right, who else we got here? Oh, come on. Oh man. All right, we'll see. I got to tell that story on just to let you guys know too, for those of you guys that aren't aware, that don't know, I got my fucking what's it called? My Patreon up and kicking. I changed it around. Before I used to have like all sorts of crazy tiers and shit like that. And now I'm just like, let's make it simple. There's a $5 tier and there's a $10 tier. $5 tier, guess what I talk about? I talks about the fragrances, baby. $5 fragrance reviews. I'm going to try to do one a week. If that doesn't fucking meet your fancy, you fucking cheap fucks. I got $10 post smash interviews. I got 2 posted up already. Well, not the post smash. I got 1 fragrance review, and then I got 1 post smash interview. The post smash interview is fucking epic. Like, details that I never. Wow, I was really impressed. I was impressed with the level of detail that she went into. And she lays it all out. It's fucking dope. So I'm gonna try to put one of those out each week as well. That shouldn't put too much pressure on me. But I got some stories lined up too. I think I'm also going to post up some stuff too of like from my perspective, stories from my perspective. So you can hear both perspectives of what was going on, like how I work my magic, what she got to see from her angle and what she liked and all that stuff too. So make sure you go to my Patreon, become a fucking member. I'm sure you guys can afford $5 fucking a month to hear bomb ass fucking fragrance reviews, because I'm not going to do them on here any longer. Something's got to pay for them fragrances, baby. YouTube ain't paying me. And then second, you guys want to hear straight out the horse's mouth from girls, you're going to want to head on over there. 42 people up in here right now. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as well. Let's take a listen to this, and then we'll get into what's going on here. I hold the door for anyone, but if they don't say thank you, I'll say for them with the attitude. The women jump with fear, and most guys will correct themselves. That sounds very East Coast. I used to do that when I lived on the East Coast. Here, it doesn't fly. People are that fucking rude here. Like, honestly, people are that rude. They're so ingrained there's like people are so solipsistic here that they don't care. They don't like to talk to people. They're so obsessed with their little phones and shit. Maxim Magazine did an article on smells. Apparently, a gentleman wears cologne, but also wipes his slong, especially foreskin, if he has it on her napkin to give her the pheromone directly to the source. Okay, that's crazy. What's this girl saying? Just got home from work, getting ready for an event this evening. I need to swing by. I'll hit you up later. If not, you can be my Valentine, LOL. Good stuff. I'm the Nines up in the house. Ping printer. That actually sounds dope. I haven't ever seen you before, I don't believe. Let's make sure we're hitting that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, please and thank you. I am from the East, and that's where I get it from, but I'm in Texas now. Yeah, I think that can swing in Texas because people in Texas are a bit more open. I'm telling you, man, if you came here to the West Coast, these people are fucking vile human beings. They need to be clapped with some fucking sense. Not common sense, practical sense. They need to be clapped with a bunch of stuff too, like fucking manners, and just stop believing that fucking Hollywood is reality, you fucking stupid fucks. There's something too about people that are obsessed with Disney and going to Disneyland. A lot of these people are. It's like, you guys are fucking retarded. You should collab with Brad Holiday. I don't know who he is. I'll take a look. I think someone else recommended yesterday that I talked to Aaron Clary. I shot him a message yesterday on the Twitter. Haven't heard back and probably won't hear back. So that's the problem with being a fucking nobody right now. And I know I'm not a nobody. I'm just saying as far as being recognized socially. I don't have any real social clout to like throw my dick around and be like, hey, man, bring me on. Like, let's talk. It's like, oh, here's another fucking just whatever. Just start walking around and slapping the shit out of people. Yeah, I can't wait for fucking society to collapse a little bit because that will happen. Just fucking hammering bitches. People. That's bitches is a whatever term. Aaron Clary is the reason why I am on a 1-year sabbatical. Good stuff. I haven't listened to any of his stuff, to be honest with you. I just saw his website. I think it was like Asshole Consulting. And I was a fan of that. I think he and I are probably on the same page with a lot of things then. Yeah, Aaron Clary is good, but he refuses to talk to anyone if they don't pay him. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. Good to know. I didn't know that. Oops. Yo, I had a super pumped up day. Marshall Mathers LP. Super hype. Good stuff. Yeah, he won't talk to people in chat. Gotcha. Women deserve equal rights and lefts if shit hits the fan. All right, gents, let's get on topic right now. I'm already at a fucking hour. I had a good conversation so far. I know I normally do about an hour-long show, but fuck it, who cares? We're going to push past that stuff. I might even fire up the phone lines if you guys want to. We'll do some Zoom chat just to have some people call in. We'll take like 1 or 2 calls. But this was a, what's it called? This topic was based off of a viewer. It was a viewer question that asked me the question. He said, hey, Corey, can you go over how you're able to maintain your specific lifestyle? How are you able to go to the gym? How are you able to go to the gym, game, grow financially, so to speak, write books, go to school, and do jujitsu and everything all in one day or all in 1 week? He's like, how are you able to schedule all this and then like maintain your health, wellness, and XYZ? So let's talk about that right now, guys. This is a huge deal. Well, guess what? Rolo doesn't own the internet. So, you got to choose one or the other. Oh man. Anyway, I'm responding to that one. Let's talk about how to set your schedule up. So how did I come up with how I do my business? Well, first and foremost, if you haven't read my first book, Live Your Best Life in 30 Days, I highly recommend you do that. That's the starting point for all of this, right? So I had an epiphany within my own life that I needed to make me the center focus of my own life through all sorts of different things. And then I had to sit there and I had to be like, all right, well, if I'm trying to be the most valued or the highest value man possible, right? Because that's what my goal is. And I want to be the most, I want to have the best health. I want to have the most wealth, and I want to have the best optimization in order for me to obtain freedom and happiness. What do I have to do? And I realized, okay, there's 6 areas of my life that I need to constantly be growing in order for me to really be happy. And I have to constantly be growing in those. And those 6 key areas in life are the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relational. And those are all based off of like a pyramid in a way. So I've come to realize like physical health and wellness to me is absolutely the foundation for my entire life. Why is that? Well, when I'm physically fit and I'm physically happy and I feel physically healthy, everything else seems to really build off of that. That's like the root of your, like the roots and the base of your tree, right? And then from there, like I notice when when I'm working out quite a bit and I'm eating healthy and everything's on point, my mental clarity is there, and I find myself reading more books or consuming more information in the spaces that I want to consume more information in. I'm able to retain it better, and I'm able to apply it into my life, and I'll use it that way. Well, when those 2 things are huge, and I'm doing different types of other things, especially when it comes to meditation or jujitsu, my emotional state is on point. I'd even throw in their acupuncture and therapy. Talking to a no kidding psychologist, not a psychiatrist, or even better yet, for your mental and emotional, hiring a coach, hiring a consultant, which leads me to my next point. If you guys are in the mood or desire a life coach, especially out of myself, please do email me at agodofmen. I will give you the price tag there as well. I will work with you if you need to. However, I'm not cheap, but I can work with you based off of however many minutes you want to go. $120 for a 30-minute session, $200 for the hour for your introductory rate. From there, we could work on something if you want to buy a full-blown package, or if you want to do onesies and twosies, we can go from there. But either way, you should get a coach. From there, it goes into the spiritual. As I've talked about some spiritual things here, I believe meditation is huge there, but then I also believe in doing different types of rites of passage and initiations. Fasting can tie into this as well, or going and doing shamanic rituals like I've done with different types of entheogenic medicines. From there, it goes into the financial, obviously growing wealth in different ways. At this current point in time, I have eight, well, come March 1st, because I'll be releasing my second book, but I have 8 different forms of passive income streams, 8 of them thus far. Once YouTube gets fucking kicking and all that other stuff, that'll be 9. I got all these things set up, right? That's what people got to do. They got to figure out other ways for their income to come in. Now, the last thing is relational. Game ties into that, but game is continuous. But relationships are the hardest thing in the world. And what I talk about with that is obviously making sure that you understand your boundaries and your non-negotiables first. Once you're able to identify those things, protecting them like a fucking Marine on goddamn patrol, right? That's how you shape your relationships. But first, you got to know your non-negotiables, and you got to do, you got to know your non-negotiables, and you got to know your boundaries, and you got to protect the shit out of them. So once you have all that figured out, your non-negotiables, your boundaries, what you want out of life, what directions you want to do, once you've established your goals, now you can go about setting up your, I don't believe in a daily planner. I believe in first doing a weekly planner. But as I've talked about before, I've also identified where I want my life to be in the future, what goals I want to accomplish there, going to a 5-year plan, and then going and breaking down my 5-year plan to an annual plan, right? So once I have my vision, my 5-year plan, and then my annual plan, I'm now able to kind of break down what I need to do throughout the week. I know this sounds crazy, but let me just give you kind of an idea of how I do business. Now, first and foremost, obviously, I don't work a 9-to-5 job. I don't work for a fucking corporate slave master or any of that stuff. I go to school. I get paid I get paid to use the GI Bill, so I get paid to go to school. On top of my housing is paid for. So my schooling is paid for, and like I said, my housing. Then I also get a disability, from my time frame in the military, which only kicked in just about a year ago. As crazy as that sounds, I've been out of the military now for fucking, yeah, it'll be 7 years. Just kicked in about a year and a half ago. So it took me that long for that shit to happen. I don't want any of those to be my primary sources of income either, by the way. And that's one of my biggest goals, is to make so much income that if that were to fucking disappear somehow, some way, I don't give a fuck, right? I don't like being on any faction of like welfare, so to speak. But I'm entitled to that because of my military service and the shit that I did. So might as well fucking take it. But it's given me the opportunity now for me to take care of myself and 100% contribute to this. Now, I have worked jobs in the past. I've made money doing XYZ, and I've invested all of that money into what I'm doing right now. So now my lifestyle is based primarily off of my own optimization of what I like to do. I normally go to bed around midnight and I get up around 8 a.m. I've realized that I'm kind of a night owl, and I believe, I forget who talks about this. I read this book just recently, actually not recently, probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and he talks about people being either night owls or larks. Right? There's two different types of personalities when it comes to this stuff, where people are able to find their like creative muse, like their creative what's it called? I'm a night owl. Getting up like Jocko Willink at fucking 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and going and doing a workout doesn't work for me. That's just not where I hit my fucking stride. So I get up at about, I say 8 o'clock because I try to get my 8 hours for sure. But most of the time I'm up at like 7:30 or whatever. And I'm even going to bed before midnight as well. So it's like 11:30 to 7:30, midnight to 8 o'clock, depending on what I'm doing and all this other stuff. And then from there, I realize I need to get up. I need to move around a little bit, maybe stretch out here and there, hop in my sauna if it's too cold out for me to fucking just get up and start stretching, hop on my bike and get moving, do that. But first, obviously, I check to make sure that like nothing's going crazy. Like there's no fires I got to put out. So check email, check a few different things, make sure that's all good. Get that done. Know that I have to be at the gym by 9:30, 10 o'clock in order to get an hour to an hour and a half workout in. From there, so my week is set up where I go to jujitsu 3 times a week. And I go to jujitsu at noon on Monday, Wednesday, and then I go to jujitsu on Friday night at 6 o'clock p.m. So I got my 3 jujitsus there. We might actually have to switch jujitsu to noon on Friday now. So I might not be able to do that because of this, because it's going to be damn near impossible for me to drive 30 minutes away, getting off the air at 5:30. So we'll play with that one. And then, so I get my workout in, I get my jujitsu in. Tuesday, Thursday, I was trying to do Muay Thai, but I'm realizing now that that's too steep of my, at this moment, as I'm trying to build my financial house. So that's going to get put on the back burner for a little while. So during that time frame, Tuesday, Thursday, I know full and well that I'm going to be on the air at 4:30. So, and I have school from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night. So after I finish at the gym, I need to come home and I need to do my homework and I need to do some work on the computer or whatever. Maybe I'll have a consult and I'll schedule consults during that time and all that good stuff. Now, in the in-between, like when I'm taking a dump, when I got some downtime, when I'm eating my food, that's when I'm swiping on online dating and I'm talking to these girls. I'm catching up on text messages to keep that going. And I'm trying to set up different dates and different types of things, right? He asked a specific question, how are you able to write and get all that stuff in there? Well, during that time frame, when I was writing this book, I was dedicating, man, it was crazy because I was going through some pretty wild, when I first started writing it, I was going through some pretty wild like data dumps where I would literally sit there and write for probably a good 4, 5, 6 hours, knock out 15,000 words maybe in a sitting. and feel fucking super accomplished. But when that happened, I would, as crazy as that sounds, I would skip jujitsu, right? I wouldn't go to jujitsu that day because it's like, I got to sit here. I got to use this. I got to use this momentum. I got to go with it. Right. And I was giving myself, what's it called? Like a time frame. And I remember at one point in time, I was like, well, I wanted to be done with this book by November 11th. And I didn't hit that marker. Wasn't never going to hit that marker. And I actually thought I was going to be writing a lot more too. So, when I have these kinds of things, obviously there's key things that are like my non-negotiables, right? So the gym for sure, 5 days a week. So I'm definitely going to the gym. I'm not letting writing get in the way of that. I'm not letting this podcast get in the way of that. I'm not letting any other podcast get in the way of that. I'm for sure doing that because that's like my base level stuff that I need to take care of. As I talked about just recently, as I was getting ready to release this book and I was doing all the marketing and stuff like that, I cut my dating down to like pretty much zero. And I was just going strictly text to sex 1 day a week. Right. I know as a matter of a fact that I have to have sex once a week in order for me to maintain my game, maintain my threshold, maintain my, so to speak, what's it called? I don't want to say, what's the word I'm looking for? Because I could not have sex and still be happy and still get away and still get around. But I do believe that sex at a base level is necessary. It's great feedback, does a whole bunch of good stuff for you. So I try to have sex at least once a week. And this comes down to boundaries as well. I also have rules that when I'm dating a girl or anything like this, I only see her at maximum twice a week. And that's to leave room for all my other areas of work. And this is where a lot of guys go wrong. If I'm spinning plates, not transmutation, not vice either. Mojo for sure. But I was just saying like my own like mental clarity and emotional state, like being good. When I'm on fire though, I will go on dates. Like if I have a plethora and I don't have too much going on, like it's feast or famine, so to speak. That's kind of just how we operate as either humans or just as men. So if I'm fucking crushing it and my mojo is super high, I'll go on like 4 or 5 dates a week. I probably have sex like 3 or 4 times that week or more. Like this week alone, what am I at? I went 3 days in a row. Yesterday I said to you guys, oh shoot, I'm like tired. I don't know if I want to kind of deal, but I got to be honest with you. Last night I almost did. It was like 9:30 and this one chick and I were talking and we were about to hook up and she's like, fuck, she was like 25 minutes away too. And she's like, come over. And I was just like, oh God, if she came over, it would have went down. Not going to lie. But because old boy was feeling a little bit tired and stuff like that, I was like, let's rain check it. And if I lose it, no big deal. So I didn't. I'm cooking up a few things for tonight, to be honest with you. Excuse me. So there's that. It really comes down to like, I like 60% of my schedule is based off of the things that I need to do and the things that I need to get done. I'd even say 70%. And then 30% of it is kind of like still up in the air. Cause I always leave room for like, not surprises, but yeah, for like, I can reshape this. I can remold this. I can do X, Y, Z. Right. So like, obviously we all know I'm a bachelor. So I cook all my food. I don't go out to eat that much. I got to fucking clean my own place. I got to do all my own fucking laundry and everything like that. So I have my schedule set up where I can accomplish all of those things in the week and still go out and have fun by going out on these dates and then still get all my work done as well. And I have a perfect blend to all that on top of getting all of my things, like all the things that I need to do accomplished. Because I've identified the areas of life that bring me the most joy by going back to what I was talking about. Like I've already identified my vision for the future. I have a vision, my 5-year plan. I've envisioned the goals that I have for this year. And then I kind of break that down throughout the week as to how I'm going to get there. Right. So it's kind of that thing. And then, like I said, I've already accomplished my philosophy by understanding the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relational. So now that I have all of those things kind of sorted through, it's easy for me to create this schedule and this lifestyle because I understand my own philosophy, and I understand how and what makes me happier in life. And I don't let too many things knock me off my rocker. Right. So craziness when it comes to this stuff. It's really, I mean, I even think with it coming down to it, it really comes down to holding my boundaries. Like even when I'm with a girl and going on a date by 11:30, I'm kicking her out of my house. She's not staying over. Why? Well, I got to meditate and then I got to go to sleep. And then I got to wake up at 8:00 in the morning and I have to go to the gym and I got to do all this other stuff. I know if she spends the night, it ruins my frame. It ruins my time frame. It ruins all sorts of stuff. And then I might not go to the gym. I might not, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm really, really cutthroat when it comes to, I guess, what's the phrase I'm trying to look at? Compartmentalizing my time. Really, really, I'm really cutthroat with that stuff. And I guess that's even why, like, I'm so savage when it comes to dates, I guess. Like I'll talk to you guys in like, Hot Dude or even in the WarTribe and stuff like that. And I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, some people will be like, yeah, I was on a date for 4.5 hours. It's like, why? What are you doing, man? You know what I mean? Like 4.5 hours. By that point in time, I would have already been trying to close. If it was a no for the close, then I was fucking finishing up and I was coming home and I was posting videos up to Patreon, or I was writing more stuff, or I was working on my fucking email campaign or doing any of this shit. Like those types of things take priority. Like, we're going to be on this date for 2.5 hours to include like coitus and everything like that, plain and simple. You know what I mean? Like very, very, very strict with my time. And I got everything kind of broken down. Night owls hear about these early morning routines, try it, fail, and then blame themselves. Yeah, exactly. I'm 100% on board with you because I did that for quite some time. It was like, oh, sweet, I'm waking up before the sun and I'm going for a run and I'm doing all this other shit. But then I'm going to bed at fucking like 10:30 at night. And it just seems like I lose my creative edge when it's like that. But then I'll go back and forth between the two. But even then, that's really what it comes down to is, when you're doing creative stuff like this, or you're writing, or you're doing art, or you're doing music, you got to give yourself, you can't have like too strict of a setup as far as your time is concerned. If you're too militant with it, you're not going to be able to do it. So that's the other thing I have to say about that kind of deal. But yeah, I know for sure. Ideally, where I'm at is I like to have sex more than twice a week, no more than 4 times a week. So that's kind of where I go with that stuff. When I'm not as busy, 2 dates a week, even though right now I wouldn't even consider myself to be dating. Almost all of my stuff has been text to sex as of late, which has been great. Because that keeps me in my own space where I'm able to kind of maintain all the things that I have to do. And not to mention the girls. These girls are pretty cool. I got to give them that. I like when they're on board. They kind of recognize everything that's going on there. Huh. But as the season starts to speed up, because this is one thing I'm starting to notice, gentlemen, this is one thing I do need to announce. The season is starting to heat up. Even though I know Valentine's Day is 2 days away, I think that it's starting to heat up a little bit more. It's starting to get more spicy. No more of this cuffing season bullshit. Women are rebelling away from cuffing season already, which is good to hear on my end. So make sure we're swiping, make sure we're spitting game, make sure we're talking to these girls. I want to say this too. Someone said something earlier. Hey, should I go talk to these? What was it, Bulgarian or Bolivian or whatever? Go talk to them. Go talk to the most unapproachable woman. Like that's your homework today, guys. Start talking to the most unapproachable women out there. Period. Like just fucking do it. Just be that guy. Fuck it. Why not? Right? Like you want to send a message? Let's do this. I'm all about it. I want to see a Navy SEAL with a photo of not his 3:45 a.m. wake up alarm, but his Friday night bed before 8:15 night time. That's hilarious. I don't know if that actually happens. Yeah, I don't do the early morning thing often, mostly at a night owl. Sometimes I'll get up pretty early for a change of pace. Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. But like I said, I feel like I'm more in my creative space. Like I'll be sitting tonight. I'll probably be sitting up and concocting something somehow, some way, right? Like some of my best ideas come in that way. Or I'll be watching something and some ideas will come in. Excuse me, fuck. I can't believe it's already fucking 6:00 today, though. Jesus. Took a little bit of. I took too much Gorilla Mind Rush today. I took 4 caps. Probably should have just stuck with either 3 or 2. Like I said, I didn't do anything yesterday, and man, I'm fucking feeling it. I'm like, it's like 6:00. Normally, I'd be like a little bit wound down. Right now, I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. We got 40 people still up in here. Let's make sure we have hit that fucking chat, hit that fucking like button. 9s are nice, 7s are miserable. This isn't the 90s when things made sense. Anyway, you know what? Since I still got a whole lot of energy, I am going to do this. I'm going to open up the phone lines like I talked about. I'm going to post up this Zoom link in the chat. And if you guys are up for it, starred, please do give me a little ring-a-ding-ding. Where are you? There we go. Hey. If whoever calls in keeps it short, we might be able to get 3 on the line, but we'll see. We're going to go with this. We're going to try it. Hit that Chad button. Hit that smash button so Corey can smash tonight. I'm working on this other little Latina too. She's trying to say no to me. I don't like that. That's the worst word in the world. Don't say no. Not tonight. Shut up. Yes, tonight. It's muy bien. All right. It looks like I'm up and live on Zoom. Let's turn up that volume just to make sure. There we go. We're good to go. Oh yeah. Smash, bro. Yeah, gonna happen. That early morning garbage is vestigial from the days we were all agrarian society dependent on the sun for light. I agree. Like I said, though, I forgot what book it was that I was reading. I should scroll through this stuff. It was a pretty good book. Is it on Audible or is it on the other thing? Let's take it. Or is it my Kindle? I got so many fucking books, man. It's ridiculous. Shut up and listen. 1 page, unscripted. No. Oh, I know a book I'm thinking of. Peak Performance. Something along those lines. Shut up, Kindle. Even though. Nope. Gosh. What do I do with it? I'm reading The Compound Effect right now, guys. It's a pretty good one. Dude, I have so many books, man. Yeah, Peak Performance was exactly the name of the book. That's where he talks about it. We got a caller on the line. All right. Let me lower this down there. Caller, can you hear me? Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's going on, bud? What's going on, Daniel? How are we doing today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good, honestly. You've been, saving my money for the Iboga trip. You ended up convincing me.
Good for you, dude. That's fucking
Good
huge.
persuasion.
Do you have a
Yeah.
passport?
Yeah, I do. I have the U.S. passport and my chilling one.
Good for
There
you.
you go.
All right, just needed to make sure that. How far along are you in the savings process?
I already got the money, but I have money that I'm saving up for investment. So
Uh-huh.
I'm saving, extra money apart from the investment that I like, the mark that I had initially for my investment. So now I'm making like a little bit extra money. It should take me like 4 months, 3 months to get the 3K or 5K. So that shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, you only need 3K. It's 2K to go down there, and then the flight isn't even the flight if you book it ahead of time. Like me last time, I didn't fucking book it ahead of time. I booked it like 2 weeks in advance, and it was like $1,000 for the flight down to Liberia.
Liberia, right?
Yeah, flying to Liberia, you don't want to fly into fucking
now it's there, right?
No, fuck no.
My mom's Costa Rican, so I'm probably gonna get that passport as well.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so, yeah. Also, one of my questions was about the. I got two questions. So the first one is about the Iboga ceremony itself.
Okay.
What kind of like cleansing do you go through? Like, how does it feel in a sense? If you would have to explain it in a way, is it like a physical, cleansing, perhaps, or is it like more of a mental cleansing as well?
I kind of talk about it in one of my what's it called? I think it's all three of them. It's all three. It's physical, mental, and spiritual, and even emotional. Because all four of those things tie in very closely. There's a very fine line between the two. So here's one thing that I can kind of explain to you. So whenever you experience a trauma mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And the crazy part is this: there's a book out there. It's a book called "The Body Keeps the Score," where it talks a lot about how we as humans too. What we end up doing is we end up storing our traumas, our emotional wounds, in some type of physical form, and that's actually what can cause different types of imbalances in your body. So, for instance, like what happened on my second Iboga ceremony, the one that I just went down there. I'm sitting there in the ceremony. I'm laying down. This is like 45 minutes into the ceremony. So I think you're not relevant of like you're not aware or cognizant of time whatsoever. Anyway, yeah, fucking nuts. Oh well, the first thing that I see is this. I'm like laying on a fucking table, and there's this alien that's standing above me, and it's kind of like it's a cool alien. It's a nice alien. It's kind of like the alien in the Star Wars where Obi-Wan goes to that planet and he finds out about the clone army. Are you familiar with Star Wars at all?
I think I do remember. It's like from the prequel.
Yeah, so it's like these super long-necked aliens with like a small head, and like this alien sitting over me, and it's looking at the screen and it's showing me the screen, and it's like doing a scan of my body. And then the scan stops, and it stops on my hip, on my right hip in particularly. And it like highlights everything in red. And I'm like, oh shoot, there's something obviously going on there. So then the alien like reaches into my body, which at this point in time is just like an energy. It's not really like a body. It's like it's not even physical at this point in time. It like reaches in.
I can picture it.
Yeah, it reaches in, kind of like Neo does to Trinity in the Matrix. Like reaches in and just like pulls it out and yanks it out. And I'm like, oh, cool, now it's fixed. And they're like, yep, it's fixed. And then all of a sudden after that, like I go into a whole different type of hallucination, so to speak, where I'm like seeing different like cartoons and different shit. And this is like me going deep into my subconscious, apparently. And like 45 minutes later, I feel this emotion start to rise up from my right hip, come up into my brain, and I recognize it. I'm like, oh shoot, that's shame, right? And I'm like, oh man, that's shame. And then the voice, like my consciousness or God, so to speak, or Iboga, is like, yeah, that's right, that's shame. I was like, oh man, that's fucking crazy. Like I can feel it. And it's like, yeah, exactly. You've been holding on to this since you were 13 years old. And then like it shows me pictures of like having shame from being like Like my dad used to like scream at me for some reason after fucking I'd play hockey and like just totally embarrass me, make me not want to play, but then force me to continue playing. So it's like it was fucking stupid. It was crazy, right? So I was feeling all sorts of shame because I wasn't able to what's it called? Live up to my father's standards and all this other stuff, right? And feeling like I had no value in XYZ. So then it's like, yeah, you've been holding on to this since you were 13. Do you want to keep it? And I'm like, what? Keep it for what reason? It's like, well, you've been holding on to this since you've been 13. You obviously feel as though this is necessary, right? It's like, no. Like, I don't want that anymore. It's like, why? It's like, well, it's not serving me. It's like, exactly. So do you want it or do you want to let it go? And I was like, let's let it go. It's like, perfect. And then like, I just felt it like evaporate. And then the same thing happened like 45 minutes later with shame, right? Like shame popped up from the same location. And it's like, oh shit, that's shame. It's like, yeah, exactly. It's shame. Like, why are you holding on to all this shame? It's like, you've been holding on to this since you were fucking young. Like, what's going on here? And it's like, oh, well, I felt all this shame because I wasn't good enough or I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where it came from, right? I could probably go into numerous stories about all this stuff, but long story short, I just want to make sure I'm not going on this one. All right, cool. And then that all popped up and then same thing happened. Like, hey, you've been holding on to this since you were super young. Why are you holding on to it? It's like, oh, I don't need it anymore. It's like, okay, you want to let it go then? Yeah, absolutely. And then it evaporates. So this is like stuff that's locked in your body, but is also like subconsciously trying to keep you safe and protected. So the iboga ceremony and what iboga does is it pulls these things up that are no longer serving you in your subconscious and it like deletes them like they're fucking computer programs.
Oh, I see. Wow.
So it's huge.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's actually that actually really seems what I need. So my purpose of going there is kind of I want to like really streamline my life because I'm not sure what I really want right now.
Yeah.
I have like a general idea, but I don't really know, you know. So I want to have something that I can really put my soul into, you know, like really concentrate and be able to discipline myself towards that one goal. Because right now it's like these general things that we're searching for, like you know, you want to be successful, but how do you define your success under? There's a general way of defining success for men, at least, but
right.
I think I want to find my own personal way for my personal success rather than the general way, which is the one that I'm gonna achieve either way.
For sure.
But I also want to.
You're talking about like what's my purpose versus what people are telling me I need to do.
Exactly. That's
yeah.
pretty much what I want to find. My second question was because I know it's a really personal experience, so I wanted to ask you because I have one friend that he's also saving up for the Iboga trip because I showed it to him because it was amazing, you know, because I saw your video and I was like, bro, you gotta see this, and he was super like excited about it. He was like, this is the shit we need, you know, and he wanted to tag into the trip, but I was like, is this a good idea? Because I feel like it's a personal experience that I don't know if I should go alone. Should I go with him? What would you recommend in that sense?
I always recommend everybody does everything alone.
Right. Yeah. I thought the same thing.
And then the next thing is this too. Your friend's probably going to bitch out anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one thing I've noticed about most people in the world. Like even this, like what I'm going to tell you is this right now. I think, you know, you're sitting here, you're talking about saving up for all these other investments and all this other stuff, but what's the best investment you could ever make?
Yourself.
And if you're feeling the least bit not on your purpose right now, or like you're lacking direction, if I could tell you that there's a tool out there that you could go and you can experience that it's going to put you on your path, why not fucking go and do that tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? Like
it's the doubts, you know, because I've been doubting myself so long. Like even when I'm trying to find things that I want to look for, that I want to like invest my time into.
Yeah.
I always second guess myself, you know, is this what I really want to go into? So at this point, it's like a habit, and that's what I'm trying to get rid of, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I say go as soon as possible. I just looked at their schedule the other day. They have 3 more fucking slots available in March. Like you could go March 12th or March 22nd or something like that. Like if you got the money, you should damn sure go and do it. Like I'm telling you 100%, like this is what I think most every man needs to do. But the thing is most every man isn't going to do it. because
I
it's
really want
scary.
to do it. No, I'm gonna do it either way. I don't really care about like the consequences. Like I'm fearful of it, you know.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like that kind of fear that like you get before an important match per se. Like,
Exactly.
like,
That's
soccer,
exactly what it should be.
That's the kind of fear that at the end of the day pushes you forward to
Yeah.
do it. And then when you're there, you're like, "Fuck, thank God I did this."
It's called a healthy respect.
Exactly, it's like a healthy respect per se.
For sure.
So yeah, dude, I've definitely got to check the dates because I'm in college, so I'm in my semester, and like if it really is on a blank week, you know, where I can miss class and I'm not gonna miss like any quiz or anything, I don't think I'll care. I'll just go. But I really need to ask them for like their scheduling and why not. And do like in July, is there any like things for summer per se, like American summer? I'd say like July, May. Do they have anything for them, or should I just contact them directly?
For what time frame?
Oh, let's say May, July, like the start of July, maybe the end of May, because that's when I'm off class, you know, from the spring semester.
For sure. Go and look at their schedule right now and contact them.
Right.
www.ibogawellness.com.
I think I did contact somebody, but they replied the email,
Uh-huh.
but they didn't give me the info.
Yeah, well, you could find the schedule.
I think I fucked it up.
You can find the schedule on their website. It's super easy.
They do? They have it on the website?
Yeah, here, I'll show you right now.
Right, let me check.
IBOGA. Well, yeah, buddy. All right. Retreat program. Okay, so let me fucking share screen here real quick. All right, so here's the website. Are you watching or no?
Yeah, I'm watching right now.
All right, cool. So when you first get to Iboga Wellness, you'll be on the homepage. Then you're going to click the tab on the top that says Retreat Program. You see it highlighted in red right there.
Oh, I see.
Then it should say Psycho-Spiritual Iboga Retreat at Iboga Wellness.
All right, they got a calendar there.
Exactly. So now we're going to click on the calendar. Now we can see all of the sessions.
The March one is full. Like the March.
Everything in February is full. March is full. March 8th is full. Or sorry, March 12th is full. But March 22nd has 4 rooms available. You should do that one.
22nd.
Fuck school. Go and do that shit. I did that too. I failed one of my classes though because of it.
Fuck, dude. I really don't want to like. At the end of the day, like I might come back and be like, you know, fuck school either way. But you know.
Well, I already told you to say fuck school. Who's paying for school?
The government.
The government's paying for school? What are you, a dreamer or some shit?
No, I get FAFSA.
Okay. So they're paying for all of your school?
They're paying for, because I'm a community college right now, so the costs are pretty low.
So okay.
The associate's degree before I transfer out for like a public school.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're paying for pretty much all of it.
School's retarded, man. I'm sure you're seeing it. It's a cancer.
It is, honestly. Like, there's most of it you can learn by yourself.
100%. You can learn more from courses and all this other shit, I believe. You're better off, like I said. I told you, go and get your fucking real estate license and then go and work in a sales job.
I'm thinking about it. Trust me, I thought
but
about it.
Go do Iboga first.
So much soft skills. Iboga, bro. Like, I really want to do it. Fuck, you're gonna make me fail my classes, but it is what it is.
It's a fucking community college. What's it cost to pay for that course? My community college for one course was $147. You can't afford to fail a $147 course.
It's not the dollars, it's the GPA. Because I'm doing like STEM field degrees. So.
Yeah, and then you retake the course, and then they take the new GPA.
Not when you're going to like a really good university. When you're transferring out to like a really good one.
I got accepted. After I did Iboga the first time, I got accepted to Berkeley and UCSD with a 3.9 GPA.
No
Suck my dick. I know what I'm talking about. This was 2 years ago.
Oh shit! Now I got no excuses. You fucked me up.
That's what I do to people. Everybody that wants to come with me to excuse, it's like my life. I've lived it. I'm telling you, I know this shit. Like, go and do what I've done.
I've been really paying attention to your shows, but I think I might get into the WarTribe as well. I was trying to bet you out to see like, is this guy legit? And I can tell you're legit, bro. So
I'm the most
I
legit.
feel like that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I
Yeah.
appreciate all the advice, bro. Really
Join the WarTribe, and then we have what's it called every Sunday too.
Webinars.
Yeah, we have those webinars every Sunday. So that way, there you'll at least have the ability to talk, and instead of having to call me up every fucking whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll be able to talk to me on Sundays.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. I think I'll pull the trigger on this.
Do it.
All right, man. Thank you.
Don't think about pulling the trigger. Pull the trigger.
Will.
All right. Good stuff.
Thanks, bro.
Adios.
Bye.
All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Nobody else is in here? All right. Screw you guys. I'm going to go do something else if nobody else wants to talk to Corey. We'll end the meeting here, and then we'll end the show here as well. I believe in having a mix of structured and unstructured activities. Absolutely. It's the way the mind works best. Got to leave some room for fucking problem solving. You can't always have the problem solved. I've recommended so many books, courses, videos, etc. to other guys, but they never follow through. They're the ones asking me for advice too. Exactly. I cut people out of my life that do that shit though. And that's why I also make people pay me for my time. Plain and simple. That's just really what it comes down to. Oh, cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, with that said, I'm going to get fucking cruising so I can go talk to these girls and continue to do hot dude stuff and all that other good shit. So with that said, I will be seeing you guys later. As always, though, if you guys have yet to do so, please make sure that you have signed up for my mailing list in order to get a free chapter of my newest book, as well as to hear the news that I'm going to be spitting out when it's going to be released. March 1st, by the way, but who knows? I might open it. I might release it a little bit earlier. We'll see. Maybe to only a select group of people as well. So that's why you want to get on that mailing list as well. On top of the fact, too, that I am going to be, I'll announce it to you guys via email. Make sure you're on that email list. Anyway, with that said, guys, join the WarTribe, www.thewartribe.com. Join my Patreon, patreon.com/agodofmen. What else? Buy my online dating mastery course. Send me some fucking money via PayPal. Just open your damn wallet and give it to the fucking king. I'll spend it better than you guys anyway. You fucking jamooks. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Wait, what the fuck is tomorrow? Oh, shoot. I'm going live with Troy Francis at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow morning. On Friday, I'm going live with Donovan Sharp at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, I will be here with you guys live at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard. So make sure you fucking stay tuned to that shit. Adios, guys.